This is episode 50 of the Knowledge for Men show, and I've got something special for you guys here today. Let's do it.
So my name is Jamie, and I'm from San Diego, California.
This is Drew Lawton from Reno, Nevada.
I'm Pete, 23-year-old entrepreneur from SoCal.
Charles, Zubay from Montreal.
What's up, everybody? My name is Rohit, hailing from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
What's up, everyone? This is Ted Rice from Miami Beach, Florida.
Hi, this is Jason from Texas.
This is Herb from Maryland, USA.
Right, this is Jeremy from Singapore.
Hi, this is Brandon from Maine.
Hey, Knowledge for Men listeners, my name's Tim from Chicago.
I'm Zach from San Diego.
Hi, this is Anthony, I'm from Paris. I'm learning a lot from all these guys about my personal motivation and also in order to develop my mind, to help me with my immediate future. Sometimes when I wake up, I'm quite lazy. And 1 hour later, when I'm listening to your podcast, I find the motivation for the rest of my day. So Andrew, thank you for what you are doing.
I just want to give a big shout out to Knowledge for Men for helping me realize my true potential in life, that I don't need to keep living this mundane, banal life that I've been living for the past 20 years. I've just been doing what everyone else has been telling me to do, being unhappy. Now I've recognized a new source of happiness, a new source of meaning, a new source of purpose in my life, and I've just been feeling so much better about my life since then. And I just want to say thank you, Andrew, for creating such an amazing site with amazing guests for your amazing podcasts, and I hope you keep going, keep up the good work. And everybody listening to this and who hasn't listened to the other podcasts, I suggest you do so right now.
Just doing a shout out for Andrew Ferebee and his podcast, Knowledge for Men. It's my favorite podcast to go to when I need to be inspired and to learn something new. Andrew is such a great interviewer and gets such high-level guests to drop knowledge and share their wisdom, and most importantly, inspire you to take action on it, because that's what we need to have more of. Get inspiration to take action on the things that we really need to go after in our lives.
I want to say that the Knowledge for Men podcast has helped me grow by challenging to look at myself more and challenging me to grow in the areas of wealth and health, primarily in the relationships that I have in my life. And it's helped me become a better man, specifically by the quality of guests that Andrew brings on the show. He gets people that I've never heard of, a lot that I have heard of, and all the things they talk about and the ideas they explore, I take and I transfer to my own life. So, and what changes have I made? I've started to push myself, especially more in the areas of wealth creation. I had a lot of internal fears of that I couldn't do it or that I wouldn't be able to. And Andrew's story of himself, how he's grown this podcast, is inspiring. Also, the guests that he brings on and the areas that they explore on the show have really pushed me to do more with my life and become a better man. Thanks.
And I want to say, podcast helped me grow with the knowledge from the speakers. I appreciate life more, to not be afraid, to know I'm a great guy. I like Andrew share successful people read a lot of books. I was inspired and started reading. So far in 2014, I read 2 books, listened to 2 audio books. After listening, I feel like getting out of my comfort zone and just going out there and crushing life.
Basically, it's pushed me into just taking massive action. And gotta say, there's so much value in it, so much inspiration. But the more I absorb all of it, the more I felt to start doing things that matter to me. So there's a quote by Mark Twain that says, "The secret of getting ahead is getting started." So KFM has definitely helped me to do just that, to get started and, get in the arena and start getting dirty.
Been married for 7 years now, and things have gotten a little boring between me and my wife, but I've been using the advice from him and his guests and applying it to my married life. It's really done a lot of wonders and made things better than ever, and kind of rekindled the romance for me and my wife. Also, it's helped me to get focused again at work, keep moving up, and just to keep my eyes on the prize and not be happy just settling where I'm at. Thanks for everything you're doing, Andrew, and keep it up.
Each episode is packed full with actionable advice from the most inspirational men around. It's definitely one of the best podcasts out there. Keep up the good work, Andrew.
On a daily basis, you're going to pop open your iPhone, you're going to be like, oh, I got a podcast today. I wonder what amazing celebrity, author, genius that Andrew found today. Get on the Knowledge for Men train. Start listening to all this stuff. It's going to be like this constant source of awesomeness that is coming straight to your eardrums. It's a constant source of stuff that's going to challenge you, stuff that's going to make you examine your life and push you to the next level. At the end of the day, it's all about making sure that you're feeding yourself with the right nourishment to create something awesome. Andrew Ferebee, he's so badass that he says, stop listening to my podcast. Go out and act on my podcast. See all this great advice that you're hearing? Go do something about it. How many other podcasts tell you to stop listening to it? All right. If you're not on it, get on the Knowledge for Men train. You're going to love it. It's this constant stream of awesomeness coming at your eardrums.
And Knowledge for Men podcast, as well as knowledgeformen.com, have become an invaluable resource for me as I continue to grow in all aspects of my life. Andrew, having interviewed some of the most influential authors and mentors of today, as well as all of the resources provided after each interview on the website. Andrew, on behalf of all the listeners, I'd like to say thank you. You're doing an amazing job. 2014 truly is the year of the crush. I've got you. Let's do it.
I am just hooked on Knowledge for Men, okay? The people that Andrew gets on this show is just ridiculous. It blows my mind, okay? He's got Jordan Belfort, that's the Wolf on Wall Street guy. T. Harv Eker, he wrote the book Secrets of the Millionaire Mind. Kevin Harrington. Listen, I paid almost $1,000 to go see Kevin Harrington speak live, and Andrew's got him sitting here for free, okay? He should be charging hundreds of dollars for these interviews. You literally have to be crazy not to get on board with this, all right? Do yourself a favor, download some episodes, and your life's just going to take off. That's it. It's that simple.
Basically, the reason I listen to the podcast is because of all the resourceful information. It's filled with great tools to always move forward in life, and I've learned that there was so many ways to improve oneself and that it's essential to be growing consistently. The podcast reinforced my idea that we reap what we sow and that therefore it's important to better ourselves to harvest a better life. Podcast is also a constant reminder to be persistent with my actions and patient with the results. Giving up is not an option since you can't always improve your situation by improving yourself. And that's what I got to learn from all the resourceful stuff that Andrew Ferebee brings to us.
And Knowledge for Men has had a profound impact on my life. What the site really does for me is connect me to the people, the ideas, and the inspiration I need to become the best man I can be. And I just want to thank Andrew for taking the leap and really dedicating his life to inspiring all men.
All right, guys, welcome to the show. Today's episode is going to be me sharing my story and my journey in celebration of episode 50. I mean, I can't believe we're here, episode 50. I mean, it's gone by so quickly and so much has happened. I've gotten a lot of emails and I thought I would just do this entire episode. A lot of the emails were about, we want to learn more about you and your story and your journey and how you're getting these guests and how you're building your business and what's going on with you, Andrew. You got great guests, but what's really going on? And I'm going to share what's really going on in this episode. So strap in, buckle up, because I'm going to take you for a ride. All right, so episode 50, here we are. And some of the things that have happened since then, it's just been incredible. Number one in iTunes, new and noteworthy for health, business, and education. The podcast was recently ranked number 27 out of 250,000 plus podcasts on iTunes. I've interviewed celebrity guests like Tony Hsieh, the CEO of Zappos, my favorite all-time author, Robert Greene. He's the author of Mastery, 40 Laws of Power, Art of Seduction, 33 Strategies of War, 50th Law. Kevin Harrington, one of the original Shark Tank judges. T. Harv Eker, the author of The Secrets of the Millionaire Mind. And Jordan Belfort, the Wolf of Wall Street. And man, I've had John Tafer on the show, the host of the reality TV show series on Spike, Bar Rescue. And it's been an incredible journey, to say the least. And building a business around all of this and just doing it out of pure passion. Out of pure just wanting to help people and wanting to collect high-level people and bring them together to give out information to help people. I'd be the first to say that there hasn't been much luck in any of this. It's been just a lot of blood, sweat, and tears, a lot of sacrifice and suffering. Yeah. So let's go back to college. I was in college for longer than normal. I was there for about 5 years and had my challenges with drinking and drugs growing up. And I found myself in a position where I wanted to just do it right. I just wanted to do it right for a change. So in college, I took it very seriously. And for the first time, I really started getting A's. I didn't know that you can get an A. The only time that I ever saw A on one of my papers was my first initial on Andrew. So in college, I got extremely involved. I figured all the successful people were involved. When you look at a lot of these leaders that are coming out of college and how they got jobs, they were leaders at school. So that's what I did. I immersed myself in different organizations on campus. I was a part of the Sigma Chi fraternity. I took on leadership roles there. I joined the Entrepreneur Society and took on leadership roles inside there. I became an advisor for incoming freshmen to help them get assimilated into college life and handle the challenges of being a freshman and sophomore. And I was kind of just having a great time at college. I'll be honest, I loved my college experience. I was getting great grades and I was extremely involved in different organizations. I worked for the school. I lived on campus. I lived and breathed San Diego State University. Go Aztecs. And when I graduated, I just wanted to get a job right away. And even though I had the entrepreneurial spirit, I really just wanted to I feel like you get a degree and that's kind of like your admit one ticket. Like you just insert the ticket and you show them, your resume and all the things you've done at school and your GPA and your degree, and they're going to insert back a job. That's how I felt it worked. And immediately I was able to do that. Of course, I had to go through an onslaught of interviews at different companies, but I ended up taking the highest paid position that I could get, and that was a retail manager at Target. And I was starting at close to $55,000 plus quarterly and annual bonuses, and that was good for me. Right out of college, going from kind of just being broke and kind of just like getting by, right? You're in college, and then to actually having a salary and being independent, I felt like I had freedom. I felt like I had a sense of independence that I hadn't really ever felt in my life before, that I could support myself and do the things that I wanted. But I would say I was happy in the beginning. And working as a manager, I had right away just grabbed my diploma, and I had over 80 employees, and I was managing a $65 million retail outlet in North County, San Diego. And it was good at first. I was kind of getting used to the paycheck and the grind. But then there was something that really stood out to me, and I have nothing bad to say against the company. They do their best, and they're a thriving company. But I just saw a lot of senior level managers quitting. Not getting fired, but quitting. Managers who are getting paid upwards of $150 to $200 a year quitting. Why would you quit a job like that? Why would you work so hard to get to that position and then quit just after a few years? And I would see that person come in as a replacement, and then that person would quit. And so I thought to myself, if I'm on track to get into a position that people don't want to be in, why am I doing this? Maybe this isn't the right thing for me. And I found myself surrounded by people who wanted just that bonus, and they're chasing that bonus. They wanted that extra, that raise, and that wasn't me. I don't care about another $2,000 a year, $4,000 a year, $6,000 a year. That doesn't really inspire me. And I found myself kind of depressed, like lost. Like here I was waking up extremely early, 4:30 a.m., coming home sometimes at 2 a.m., and just felt kind of confused. Like, why am I doing this? At a root level, I know that I'm an entrepreneur. I know that I can achieve things. I know that I can do this. I know what I'm capable of. I did it. I proved to myself in college that I can turn around and that I can make things happen for myself, that I can get A's and that I can be involved and be a leader. I proved to myself that I know that I can do more. But here I was just living against my core. It's like I had stopped. It's like I got comfortable. It's like I reached a level of comfort from where I was previously, and I was okay with it. I didn't like that. I had money. I had the paychecks coming in, and it was like an addiction, just bi-weekly, just boom, more money, boom, direct deposit. So simple, boom, more money. And it's just so easy to stay addicted to that. And even though it's not an insane amount compared to, what else is out there, it was still something. It was still more than what I've ever had before. And what was I really going to do with that money? What was I going to do with it? Was I going to save up and buy a home? Was I going to buy a new car? Was I going to buy some nice clothes? Some cologne maybe? Some new Sperry's? What would I do with this extra money that I had? All I was doing was working for myself, and I was just exchanging all of my time for a little bit of money, more money than I'd ever had, like I mentioned. But what was the point? Was it worth it? Was my time in worth the value that I got back? No. I was depressed. I was almost lonely at times, just working so much day in, day out. Your friends become the people at work, and it just wasn't for me. I felt like I'd given up on my dreams, and ultimately, something was missing. And so, 6 months into that position, I knew that I was going to quit. I already knew that this wasn't going to be a good fit. It just took 6 months for me to realize that this position wasn't for me. In fact, I need to go back to my core. I need to go back to what it is and what it means to really be an entrepreneur. I mentioned earlier that I was in the Entrepreneur Society. I used to attend all the events, and I would always want to ask questions. I would always want to ask the best questions that would open up the guest so that they can give out information that they've never shared before. And it would be something that everyone could listen to, something that would add value to everyone's lives. It wasn't just a question for me. And this actually would be very critical in what I'm doing now, this series of asking entrepreneurs questions, because I spent a lot of time developing a sheet that I would later use. Well, you know. And so going back, I just started immersing myself in meetups all over San Diego, meetup.com. I would go in and you put in your activities, and I'd put in business, entrepreneurship, blogging, podcasting, real estate, multi-level marketing, anything that would kind of just give you that sense of entrepreneurship or financial freedom. I was just immersing myself in everything. And I was attending meetups for almost, I would say about 6 months. I would do 2 to 3 meetups a week. And I was just completely immersing myself in just meeting new people and exploring new topics and fields of entrepreneurship. And I can't tell you, but this played a critical role in my development. I ended up finding a group called Junto here in San Diego, and the guys there are just high-level entrepreneurs or up-and-coming entrepreneurs that are really just making the leap for themselves. And these groups really helped me grow into the man and the entrepreneur that I've become. And so 6 months of doing this and living frugally, just saving up as much as I can, buying the cheapest foods that I can, trying to maintain my health, but just really not being excessive with my money and limiting the amount that I spend when I go out, and really just going and doing free activities like going to the beach and going on hikes and stuff with friends, and turning down, trips to Vegas or San Francisco, etc. And I was really just a entrepreneur. And these 6 months of going to meetups and throughout college, I was a entrepreneur. So, and there's entrepreneurs who are actually in the game. They're playing, they're making it happen for themselves. And then there's entrepreneurs who, like myself at the time, you read every book. You read all the books you can on entrepreneurship. And you've been doing this for years and years and years, and you haven't really taken any action. You watch all the TED Talks, right? You go to all the events. Any event that has entrepreneur or investment or financial freedom, you're there and you attend all of them. And you talk a lot. You're with your friends, and you kind of feel like since you've read all these books, you're so knowledgeable, and you feel like you've done it because you've read all the stories of people who have, but you haven't done it yourself. And you just kind of invest a lot of your time in plans. Like I would write down all these ideas, and I'd actually write out like mini business plans, and I'd be like, wow, this is $1 million idea, this is so great. And then 2 weeks later, there's another one on top of that, and then another month later, there's another plan on top of that, and you've just got all these ideas, and you think you're so smart. Like myself, I was walking around, I felt like I knew everything because I was reading so much and I was immersing myself in entrepreneurship and at the time personal development. But really it hurt me. I felt like I was living like this double life, because here I am going to all these entrepreneur events, and there would be times where I was actually speaking on entrepreneurship, and how unauthentic is that? To be speaking on entrepreneurship and helping others with their entrepreneurship and their businesses, and you don't even have your own business. You just read so much. And so I felt like I was living a double life, where I had this corporate job and I was really doing the opposite of what I was preaching for myself. And I was doing a lot of no action, just not doing what I need to do to get the life that I want, and just doing a lot of talking. And so I know what that's like. I know what it's like to just feel like you should be something and feel like you can do so much more and you can achieve so much more, and you've done so much, you put in so much time in your own development and growing, and yet you don't have the results. That really comes down to just taking action and overcoming your fear of failure, overcoming the fear of the unknown, and overcoming uncertainty, taking that risk and making that leap. Ultimately, that's what it comes down to. Otherwise, you're going to feel trapped inside. It's like being in a coffin. It's like you're trapped inside this box, and you want to so badly break out, but you can't, because you're conditioned by society to to just maintain the status quo and just conform to what everyone else is doing, and to settle and to be in a comfortable position, and to always know and be certain that you're going to have a paycheck and have the benefits. And there's nothing wrong with that. I understand. Like, it feels good to be in that position. But at the same time, you're not growing. And as my favorite author says, Tony Robbins, if you're not growing, what are you doing? You're dying. And I had a mentor who kind of just appeared into my life. I met him from Junto, but I had known about him previously. And his name was Aaron. And I remember I shared at a Junto meeting kind of my passion and my vision for what could be possible with a men's development website. And I saw his eyes just light up. I could actually picture it perfectly. I was sitting at the end of this round table, and his eyes just lit up. And before this meeting broke out, he's like, "Hey, come talk to me after. Come meet me with me after." And he pulled me aside. He's just like, "Where did you get this idea?" He's like, "I've been having something similar like that, and I've been thinking about it for so long. Like, let's do this. Let's make this happen." And he believed in me so much. He believed in me more than I believed in myself. And it really gave me the courage, and it gave me the energy and the drive to make the leap. And the day finally came when I knew that I had to quit. The day came. I just knew. I was driving to work. I was listening to a TED Talk by Scott Dinsmore, How to Find and Do Work You Love. And I listened to it 3 times. And he talks about just going after your passion and living your personal legend. I'm about that 100%, and just going on this journey. And it's not about just getting a job and trying to get a house and a mortgage and a family and then just taking that route, but really doing something that you're extremely passionate about. Finding something that you want to do and just going out and doing it. And so I listened to that 3 times. It's a 25-minute audio tape. I downloaded it so it was on my iPod. And I just went into work. And I said, this is the last day that I'm going to have to do this. I don't want to do this anymore. And so I quit. I just walked in, talked to my supervisor, and I said, hey, this is where I'm at in my life, and I need to move forward. And that was it. And I ended it. And I didn't know you could just end it like that. And that was it. I was done. You can control your life. You can control your destiny. You are not bound by anyone to do exactly the same thing every day, day after day, day after day, and then just die. And so I came home and had so much passion. I felt like I had learned so much from just growing up from kind of in a challenging, just drinking and drugs, and then going to college and really making it happen and taking advantage of my college experience with getting good grades and being involved and being a leader on campus, that I just had so much to say, working the corporate life and just quitting the job. And I had a blog. I had a domain, knowledgeformen.com. I was always interested in personal development, and this domain came to me from how can I create a platform where I can help others, but I never really did anything with it. At best, the blog was getting like 15 or 20 hits a day, and it was like from just countries all over the world. It wasn't even from the United States. It was how are these people finding me? And I just went home and I had something to say. I just wanted to I just had so much passion and anger and just excitement all wrapped in one. And I just started writing. I didn't even know what I was writing about, but I just kept writing and writing and writing. And actually, within a month, I had over 50,000 visitors to my website. And then 6 months later, I had over 500,000 views to my website. And the blog just took off and it became its own. And the community at Knowledge for Men just started growing rapidly. Emails started coming in. Opportunities started appearing. Money started to come in. I slowly became self-sufficient by blogging and by selling affiliate products and by coaching. And that was a part of that journey right there. And it got to the point where I just kind of ran out of things to say. To be honest, I just be very honest. At 6 months of writing full time, I kind of got a few things left to say, but I had said some of my best work and I had put it all out on paper, or what I thought was everything I had. And so I remember my brother came in and he came in my room and he's like, man, this blog of yours is doing well, but I really think you should do a podcast. It seems to really be blowing up right now. And I had explored the topic of starting a podcast for quite some time, but I never really dove in. I just kind of, sounds like a good idea, put it on the shelf. And it's those ideas that you put on the shelf that are sometimes worth gold. And you got to look at your idea shelf and really start looking at what you put on there. Because I guarantee you, on your idea shelf, you've got some $1 million ideas just sitting there. And so my brother gave me the kick, and I grabbed the idea off the shelf, and in 2 days, I had everything I needed. I had the equipment, I had the software, and had done a ton of research on how do you actually do a podcast and get it on iTunes. And that was in October. And in November 18th, that's when I launched the podcast. And it wasn't easy. You know, I don't have any experience with recording. And as you may know, a lot of my earlier episodes really sounded not so great. And you can tell based on the reviews. A lot of people gave me negative reviews. And I didn't really let that stop me. I saw those reviews and it hurt. It was like a stab, like a bayonet. And then you know how they teach the military to push it to the side so it opens up the wound. So you stab and then you turn the knife to the side, and then that really opens up the wound and makes it a wider wound that's harder to heal. And that's what those negative reviews did to me. But I didn't stop because I knew I had something to say. I knew that I could get these guests on my show, and I knew that something could happen here. And I knew that there were a lot of guys out there who would want to listen to this content, because I knew that if I liked this content and that it was helping me, that there has to be some other people out there who could latch onto this as well. And so that's kind of how it started with the podcast. And my whole philosophy on getting high-level guests is really something I coined called climb the ladder strategy. And it's get the best person that you can get today so that you can get someone better tomorrow and use that person's name, and so on and so forth. And it wasn't all easy. This wasn't just me sending out emails and the guests would say, oh, for sure, I'd love to be on your show. I would have to send out about 100 emails in the beginning just to get maybe a few responses. Not everybody would even get back to me. And to get a guest, it was really hard in the beginning. It was really about me emailing all day and then finally getting a few responses and then trying to continue that conversation so that I could actually lock down the guests. And that whole process took me so long to actually drill down and make it a process where flawlessly I could work on getting guests and then to actually close them and actually get them to say yes. But even still to this day, I can't get every guest. I have to email tons of people, and a lot of the conversations just end up dying, or people forget about me, or they don't want to just continue. I've had so many people stand me up. I've had Gary Vaynerchuk stood me up. About 3 times he stood me up. We had it scheduled, ready to do the interview, stood me up. And that hurt. It's like, wow, like what am I doing wrong here? And I've had other guests do this to me too, but that one specifically hurt because I really wanted him on my show. I've read his books and I really look up to him, but he just, he wouldn't come through with me. I don't know what it was. I'd feel like, did he check out my website and did he not like something? Did he not like something I said? And it's like, you kind of drive yourself crazy. And lately I've been able to get some really high quality guests, and a lot of people think it's just coming to me easy. But what I've now started doing is I'm making phone calls, and I'm just getting rejected and rejected and rejected and rejected. And no one really sees how many rejections I have to go through in order to get that one guest. And that's really what it is. You might think because I have this audience and this community that it's really easy, but it's really just hustling. It's just the simplest way to put it is I'm hustling. And I'll be the first to say that, this isn't the best podcast out there. I'm not the best host out there, and I don't have the best guests. But you can count on that. I spend hours upon hours doing research on guests, trying to find the best quality guests that I can, and to find and ask them the best questions that I can to deliver the most value. And that's something that you can count on. And I'll also be the first podcaster to say, don't listen to my podcast every day. I don't want you to listen to this all the time. I want you to listen to a few episodes, get hooked for a little bit, and then go out and take massive action and then change your life. I want this to be a catalyst of your growth in life, a catalyst for you into becoming the man that you want to be. That's what this podcast is for. This isn't about me making money. This isn't about me trying to build a name for myself. This is about me trying to build a platform that creates badasses all over the world. And that's the goal here, is that you come in, you listen, and you learn as much as possible, and you hear a few things that tweak your growth and catapult you into greatness, into a new life, help you get the women that you're looking for, help you build the business you're looking for, help you become happy and become more successful, help you get in the best shape of your life, whatever it is. You know, I'm not saying it'll happen to everyone, but I think there's a few guys out there who can listen to this and really see some significant changes in their life. That's what I'm doing here. And with this podcast, I ended up building a course called the Podcast Blueprint, where I teach people how to create, grow, and get high quality guests and make money from a podcast. So you can check that out at thepodcastblueprint.com. And that has been a success in its own right. And it's been a part of this journey. And this thing hasn't been easy. And I want to share a few things that I've learned with you guys from my journey. And the journey's still ongoing. You know, I'm still living and breathing personal development and entrepreneurship every day. But so far, in my experiences, I've learned a few things. And I'd like to share them with you here. A lot of common thinking that we have just really needs to be destroyed. You know, thinking entrepreneurship isn't for me, and that you don't know where to start, and thinking you're not smart enough for this, or you're not talented enough for this to build your own thing. And it's kind of like you set sail on your own and you're the captain of your ship. You're no longer on the land where it's nice and safe and you just have to take care of yourself. You're on a ship and you're out in the ocean. And imagine it's like the 1500s where technology just isn't safe and you can die in the ocean. You know, that's kind of how I feel like an entrepreneur is. Not to scare anybody, but that's just how I view it. You know, and maybe you've tried entrepreneurship before, but you failed before. Or maybe you're thinking you don't have enough time. Or you're just not even sure where to start. You know you want to, but where do I start? Where do you begin on this journey? Or maybe you're younger and your parents just want you to get a job, you know, just like me, right out of college. You know, you want to get that job and feel safe and secure, right? Or maybe you're just not interested in money. Maybe you have a bad relationship with money where you feel that, you know, money's evil or money's bad. And just a quick note on that, I used to think that a lot too. Actually, I wrote all these down because this is how I used to have all of these. Okay, well, I want to kind of go into shifts in thinking and step away from that traditional mindset and think more about how you should start thinking when you're going to start an entrepreneurial venture, or even just in personal growth, and just to really push yourself and excel. Maybe you're very comfortable. Maybe you are happy with your job, okay? So I'm not saying, you know, I want to make it clear that Knowledge for Men isn't just an entrepreneurial community. It's a community for men who want to push themselves and crush it in life. Health, wealth, relationships, and personal growth, okay? Wealth, you know, the definition of wealth is your own, and the definition of success is really your own, okay? You set your own. And for some people, you know, making six figures or just making a healthy 60 grand salary is success, because you can't judge other people because you don't know where they came from. So wealth is really just open, and it's I just want you to get what you want, and that's what I want this podcast to do for you. But back to shifts in thinking, I want you to write your own story, because if you don't, someone else will happily do it for you. Someone else will gladly take that pen and just write the rest of your story. Imagine that's how life was. As you sit down in a room and, you know, you're starting to write your story, and then this asshole just comes in and grabs your pen and just starts telling you what your life is going to look like. Nope, you're not getting that. No way, you're not having this. You're not getting this car. No, you're not living a nice life. I'm going to put you in an apartment, 1 bedroom, and you're going to be depressed. How about that? You're going to eat processed foods for the rest of your life. How's that sound? No. You need to smack that guy in the face, or do more, and grab that pen, and I want you to write your story. Write your journey. How do you want your life to be? I've heard this before from Joe Rogan, he's like a UFC announcer, and he's got his own podcast too. He says, you know, imagine your life like a documentary film. Like there's this crew around you at all times and you don't even know it, and they're filming your life. How would you move? How would you act in situations? How would your life be different if there was a film crew around you at all times? And then something that I've added to that I've shared with others is that make your life like a movie, but make it like an Oscar nominated or winning movie, right? I mean, why not make it the most interesting thing ever? Because let me ask you, if you wouldn't watch your own movie, your life probably isn't worth living. Man, that's so hard for me to say. And that kind of gives me the chills. But if you really think about that, if there were 10 movies that were about people's lives and yours was in there and you were like, no, I don't want to watch that. What does that say about the way you're living? What does that say about your life? What does that say about the decisions you've made and the decisions you plan on making in the future? I want you to think about that. And another shift in thinking that you got to make is understanding that no one is going to come to your rescue. No one's going to come out and just say, hey, I've actually been watching you on your LinkedIn profile. I've been watching every update that you made. Hey, that new skill that you put in, wow, I was blown away. Hey, I saw that you got 3 recommendations from probably your best friends. Wow, I'm impressed. You know what? I've got $1 million position here waiting for you, and I think you're just the right guy. You know, I kind of used to think that when I would update my LinkedIn profile, I'd think like, wow, like, because people will like it or like upvote it or whatever. And I felt that someone out there was just going to come down and save me, whatever it is. But that's not going to happen. No one's really noticing you. No one actually really cares about your updates, the next job that you got. You know, you really got to take life by your own hands and create the life that you want. And understanding that you can't just go day in, day out doing the same thing. If you want to see change, you got to change the things that you're doing. You know, if you want to see different results, you got to change your way of thinking. You got to change your actions. Something's got to change. No one's going to come to your rescue. And, you know, you got to accept full responsibility for your life and eliminate all the excuses, blaming, whatever it is, all the excuses preventing you from doing what you want to do. Just end them. End all of them. I used to think that because I could never get good grades, that I just could never be a good student. I used to think that because, you know, I really don't know any entrepreneurs in my family, that probably isn't a route for me to go into. I don't know much about it, that I shouldn't do it. And I used to kind of blame my family for being in a divorce and causing me to go into drinking and drugs. But that's not them. That's me. I chose to do drugs. I chose to put myself in those positions. It's not their fault. Blaming my parents, that doesn't help anybody. They did the best they could, and I love them. You have to choose yourself. You have to just put your hands in the air and point them back at yourself and say me, and say I will. And choose yourself. Choose yourself because you can. You need to stand up and choose yourself for the positions and the things that you want in life. And also understanding that this is going to be hard in entrepreneurship and personal development and really working on yourself. It's hard work. You know, I think it's extremely hard, and that many times, like I said earlier, you're going to have to make sacrifices. You're going to have to accept that you're going to fail and that you're going to suffer a little bit. But the most powerful thing that you can do is understand that time is going to pass anyways. No matter what, the time is going to pass. So if you do the work now, a year will go by, 5 years will go by, 10 years will go by, and no matter what, the time is going to pass. You won't remember that extremely hard work. You won't have to relive that again. In fact, you'll be in a much better place if you start now. Understanding that time is going to pass, you know, it just might as well do the hard work. Might as well put yourself in uncomfortable situations. Might as well take the risk, because no matter what, time is going to pass, and either you're going to do it or somebody else is going to do it. So choose yourself. And a lot of people think that you're not an entrepreneur. You know, you're just not built to be an entrepreneur. You're just not built to go out and develop yourself. Well, I got to tell you, everyone's an entrepreneur. You are not your own job. When someone says like, who are you? And you respond with accountant, doctor, lawyer, you know, manager. No, that's not who you are. That's what you do for money. But who are you? Because at the end of the day, we are all hustlers. We are all entrepreneurs. We go out and we spend our time to make money. You can build businesses. You can do this. You can do that. You are an entrepreneur. You are not your job, is what I'm saying. Think of yourself as a business. Think of your life as a business. You can make the decisions and the choices that you want to get the results that you're looking for. And you just got to decide. And what is it that you want to do? And then ask yourself, how much am I willing to suffer for this? That was something that a guest on my show said, Todd Henry. if you're really passionate about something, you got to kind of look back and ask yourself, how much am I willing to actually suffer for this? Because when you kind of look at it from that angle, you know what you're getting yourself into, and it's not going to be a surprise. And you'll quickly realize that you're not willing to suffer for a lot of things. You're probably only willing to suffer for the things that really matter to you. So that's what you're passionate about. And just got to go out and take massive action on that decision that you make. And surround yourself with the right people. Like I said, meetup.com, I started meeting people. If you attend a room of 50 people, your goal should just be to really connect with 3 people. Talk to a lot of people, but really walk away with 3 numbers that you know you're going to follow up with. Because if you keep doing that, you're going to have a really awesome team around you wherever you go. Get yourself involved in a mastermind group. If you're interested in the one that I have, it's called the Lion's Den. Go to knowledgeformen.com, check out the Lion's Den. 70 guys in there. It's a group of high-performing men. We meet all the time online. We do Google Hangouts. It's awesome. Guys are seeing massive results. knowledgeformen.com/lionsden. Check that out. So it's so important. I mean, the famous quote, "You're the average of the 5 people you surround yourself with," by Jim Rohn. It's so true. It's so powerful. It can really, you change your environment, you change everything. And constantly just be learning. You take action, but you never stop learning. But I will say be wary of this, because you can just learn so much that you don't take action. So I would ensure that your action is double your learning, and just be very consistent with your actions. Be consistent with what you do and how often you do it. Because when you're consistent, it's those little steps built over time that's really going to make your life the way that you want it. And you got to be persistent, along with that consistency. And just understand that in this process, you're going to fail. You're going to fail. It's a part of the game. I can't tell you how many rejections that I have to face. I can't tell you how many times I've launched this great episode I spent weeks on and nothing happened. I can't tell you how many different marketing things I've done and how much money I've spent, and it just nothing happened. Just wasted a lot of money. Fail forward and find the positive. Fail your way to success. Find the positive. Learn. Keep moving. Keep going, keep going, keep going. And at the end of the day, what this comes down to is it's going to be a fun journey. It's your life. It's your story. You're writing your story. It's your movie. But make sure you live. Because I see a lot of guys who really want to make it in life, and they're taking a lot of action, and they're just so serious. You're serious. Like the Joker in Batman. Why so serious? And it's true. Take it seriously, but have fun. Live in the present. Take care of your health, because once you lose your health, nothing else matters. It doesn't matter what you're passionate about. It doesn't matter. Nothing else matters when you get really, really sick. So just enjoy the journey and know that you will be successful and that you will arrive at the place you want to be at. But because it takes a certain type of person who's going to listen to this podcast, especially if you've been listening to this podcast since the beginning, or if you've caught on to it and you've listened to a lot of the episodes, it takes a certain type of person who's going to dedicate themselves to 45 minutes a day of personal development. It takes a certain type of person who's going to stay committed to actually listening to the entire episode. And if that's you and you're listening, you are a success. You have taken the first step. You were on your path. You were on your journey. And I believe in you. I want to know who you are. I personally want to know who you are. Connect with me. It would mean a lot to me, actually. Just send me an email at andrew@knowledgeformen.com. And just know this. For all of you listening, you are a champion. And I'm going to put something on here, and I want you to think about your goals. I want you to think about your dreams and your vision and where you want to be in all aspects of life: health, your wealth, relationships, personal growth, who you are as a man. And I want you just to soak this in. I want you to stop what you're doing and really just listen to this and just think about yourself. Think about where you want to be. Let's do it.
Today, gentlemen, I've been honored to coach you. I'm more honored to take you into the field of battle. But there's another honor that's been bestowed upon you. And that is the mantle that comes with that question. Who am I? I am a champion. That's right. You need to remember that all through this game. I will conquer what has not been conquered. Defeat will not be in my creed. I will believe what others have doubted. I will always endeavor to uphold the prestige, honor, and respect of my team. I have trained my mind and my body will follow. Who am I? I am a champion. I will acknowledge the fact is my opponents do not expect me to win. But I will never surrender. Weakness will not be in my heart. I will look to my comrades and to those who have brought me to this world and those who have trained me, and I will draw strength from them. Who am I? I am a champion. I will gradually go out into the field of battle, and I will move in everything I can do. And I will reach my field of battle at any means at my disposal. And when I get there, I will rise violently. I will rip the heart from my enemy and leave it bleeding on the ground, because he cannot stop me. Who am I? I am a champion. To my side, I have comrades. Comrades that have been through me through thick and thin, through sacrifice, through blood, through sweat, through tears. Never will I let them fall. Never will I let them down. And I will never leave an enemy behind. Because our opponent does not know my heart. Who am I? I am a champion. No one will deny me. No one will define me. And no one will tell me who and what I am. It can be. Belief will change my world. It has moved continents, it has moved countries, it has put man on the moon. And it will carry me through this battle. Who am I? I am a champion. Defeat, retreat, those are not in my words. I don't understand those definitions. I don't understand when things go wrong. I don't understand mistakes. But I do understand this. I understand victory, and I understand never surrendering. No matter how bad things go, my heart, my mind will carry my body when my limbs are too weak. Who am I? I am the champion. Today will be that day. Not tomorrow, not next week, but right now, right here, in your house and in your home. Who am I? I am the champion. History will remember me. I will not let worry about him being kind. I will define myself. I will write my own praises. And no one will tell me what I cannot be. I will never go out not knowing I've given everything I've got. Because who am I? I am a champion. 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 I am a champion. I am a champion. I am a champion. Champions on me, champions on me. 1, 2, 3, champion. Go get these boys.
Alright guys, thanks for tuning in to episode 50. This is going to wrap it up here, and stay with me as we go on towards episode 100. So the path to 100 begins now. This episode is brought to you by my private online meds group called The Lion's Den. You can check it out at knowledgeformen.com and click on The Lion's Den. If you've been listening to this podcast and you like the content, but find it hard to find other guys out there to relate to, talk to, share your wins and challenges with, maybe you're on your own path of personal development and other guys think it's weird, or they're just not interested in what you're doing. You kind of feel like you're alone on this mission, but you're not. There's thousands of other guys out there who are on the same path, and I've been putting together a group called The Lion's Den to try and find these guys, bring them together. Hey, I know it's hard to make the push towards greatness in your life, and I found that the best way to get somewhere you've never been is to surround yourself with other people who are already there, or who are on the same path as you. So The Lion's Den does just that. It's a group of men who want to achieve greatness in all areas of life: health, wealth, relationships, and personal growth. Check it out at knowledgeformen.com and click on The Lion's Den. Thank you for listening to the Knowledge for Men podcast show. It's been a pleasure having you be a part of a thriving community of men who want to crush it in all aspects of life. I'm on a mission here to inspire millions of guys, and with your help, we're going to make a dent in the universe. Check out knowledgeformen.com for a ton of free content that's designed to help you live a remarkable life. Again, that's knowledgeformen.com. I hope to see you there, and always remember, 2014 is the official year of the crush, where we take action to get the life we've always dreamed of. This is your host, Andrew Ferebee, and until next time, let's do it.